defend the opponent. Well, that happened. And then he did a similar thing shortly afterwards, and he was sent off. So he'll now have a one-game ban, so he won't be available for this week's game at Nottingham Forest. So there's a bit of a lowness. Now, I'm pleased to say that the fans, the fans, they were still very supportive of the team. I think Palace fans are known for that, and willing them on to win and supporting them. I think Oliver Glasner, he got a sort of a modest reception, but not like he would normally get. And also Mateta, who clearly wants to go. I think he may well be going this week, ironically, to Nottingham Forest, possibly. But he's obviously lost interest at Palace. And got to be honest, he's not played very well for most of this season.
No.
He had a very good season most of last, but not this season. So again, it's a shame because we need somebody to replace him up front if he's going to go. What disappoints me and others is that we haven't, apart from Brennan Johnson, who looks a good player, came from Spurs at the beginning of the transfer window. We've had no activity since. I know they've been looking at players, but it seems a bit typical of our owners that these things are left to the last minute. Now the transfer window ends on Monday, which I think is the 2nd of February, and it closes during the evening, 7:30 or something that evening. Now, I don't know whether Palace will get anybody else. I see today Aston Villa have signed Tammy Abrahams. He used to be at Chelsea. He's been abroad since. Very good footballer, as I remember him. And so other teams are buying players and getting them in. Maybe for Palace, it's harder now to sell the club to a new player because they think, well, I don't know who the manager's going to be when Glasner goes. All the uncertainty, it might stop players coming. But what we know is that we've now gone 11 games, including 8 Premier League games, without a win. 8 Premier League games, 6 defeats, 2 draws, so 2 points out of 18. And we're now 15th. So there's a possibility of getting sucked in to the relegation fight, given that West Ham won again at the weekend. Leeds, I think, picked up a point. I think the other night they picked up a point. Yeah, they did. It was 1-1 with Everton. So, other teams might be beginning to put an act together and start to get some points. I don't really think Palace will go down, but having said that, away to Forest on Sunday, that's a tough one because Forest are right behind us. And they won 2-0 at Brentford at the weekend. The week after that, the grim rivalry match away to Brighton. Now that's one of the Palace's toughest because we're relatively close to Brighton, called the M23 Derby. Well, that's going to be an interesting one. And I think if we lose Sunday and against Brighton, Forest and Brighton, my own view is Glasner might well be sacked because that would be then 13 games. And you could argue that it's not doing his stock any good because he obviously wants a bigger job. It's not going to having said which, I guess when bigger clubs or any club make their mind up about someone, Glasner has demonstrated he's a good tactician, he's a good coach, so maybe they would overlook this run. But I can't see if we should lose these next 2, hopefully we don't, I can't see how they can just keep Glasner going on, except in a way they might do it to say, you kind of let us down a bit by getting angry and saying things in public you shouldn't. We're going to make you work to the end of the season to see out your contract. So that could be the strategy. And you couldn't blame the club if that's what they actually do. But if we do lose these next 2 games, it's not looking very good. And, so things are not great. But then football clubs may be a bit like life. You get ups and downs. And downs, don't you? Some days it's great. Last season it was great to be a Palace fan. At the moment, it's not. But then, decent fans, which we are, will stay there and always have through thick and thin. So we got to go with it and just hope things pick up.
Wow. I mean, it's what was I gonna say? Anyway, it could all change actually because but then there's the link there is what's his name? Adam Wharton.
Yeah.
It's linked with an away move from Palace. Do you think that's going to happen this January or in the summer?
Yeah, again, you never know, but I don't really think it will be this January. I think undoubtedly he'll go in the summer. I was trying to think. I think it was Manchester United I saw were
Yeah.
very keen on him. And again, he's established himself sufficiently now, I think,
Mm,
to other clubs they can see he's a class player, which he is. And again, put him in a club where you've got perhaps better players, in one of the top clubs there, and I'm sure he'll thrive, he'll improve and develop the great potential he's got, and he's a great footballer.
mm.
And so, yeah, I think we will lose him. I'd be surprised and disappointed if they let him go this window, because we wouldn't have him replaced. I mean, they got to start replacing certainly Mark Gahey and
Yeah.
anyone else they may choose to sell, like Mateta. But yeah,
Mm,
it's Walton will go at some stage. If not this window, then the next one.
yeah. I mean, Mateta is a good player, but he's just not good in front of the goal. I think that's his. He's not converting chances. That's what I mean.
Absolutely right.
He's
Yeah.
there. You see Mateta, he's there. He's making the runs, but then finishing, it's a problem for him. And I don't see him being moved back to, probably an attacking midfield. Well, that's what he plays, isn't he? He's an attacking midfielder, or is he
Well, he plays a
a
striker
striker?
usually. I mean,
He's a
he's like
striker.
a genuine number nine. But again, early
Yeah,
in the game on Saturday, he had a golden chance. It was 1-1 against the goalie, but
yeah,
the advantage was clearly his, and he should have converted it. In the Premier League, you can't, least of all against a team like Chelsea, you can't not take a chance like that. He was coming in the right hand side of the goal as you look at it, and the goalie was sort of there, and there was quite a space to the goalie's
yeah. I
right
saw that. Yeah,
left, which
yeah.
where the ball should have gone. And yet, this is classic of what he's been doing these last
Mm.
few months. He's just not been.